Go.
It's not working.
All right, this video is for Evan and anybody else who's watching this. This is 10-1. We're going straight from chapter 9 review, not taking a test over chapter 9. We won't take a test over chapter 10 like as a chapter 10 test, but these questions will be on your semester test, okay? So, and these are like easier-ish questions that should help you on your semester test, like fill in some questions that you know how to do. So, 10-1, areas of parallelograms and triangles. Here we go. A parallelogram. I'm going to draw a picture of him for you up here because I'm going to talk about one little weird thing that they might do to you. So draw this up here at the top. And I'm going to label this bottom side as 10. I'm going to do like a little angly thing down this direction. Don't look at my units. Let's say this is 3 and this is 5. Okay. To find the area of a parallelogram, you do base times height. Okay. You guys maybe know that already. What is the base of this thing? Is it 10 or is it 13? Because some people say 13 and some people say 10.
10.
The actual parallelogram only goes 10 units, okay? So that's what you're going to use for the base is 10. Now, the reason why they put that 3 there is because the height is not 5.
It's 4.
The height is like this height right here, which would be the same as this one, right? Okay, but the reason why they label that 3 and 5 is that this is a right triangle. So this, using the Pythagorean theorem, would be 4. So the height is 4. Do you see why they do that?
Yep.
Okay, so the height is not the slanted height. The height is the up and down perpendicular height. So these two dimensions that I use for my base and my height are perpendicular to one another. Does that make sense? So this area would be 40 units squared, whatever that is, right? Okay, so this is very easy. It's just base times height, but sometimes you might have to go searching for the stuff, okay? Another thing that we're finding is perimeter, okay? Perimeter is the distance all the way around. So if this bottom side is 10, the top side is also 10. What are the two sides? 5. So 5 and 5. So 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 5 is 30. So that would just be 30 units, right? Okay, easy? Easy peasy? Okay, now, looking at this diagram right here, this is how you know that it's just base times height, right? So in a parallelogram, we have this going on. In the last example, we had that this bottom side was 10 and this was 4, right? Okay, this like perpendicular up and down, right? Imagine that if I would like slice this little triangle off and move it over to here, it would make a perfect rectangle with a base of 10 and a height of 4, right? That's kind of how that works, okay? So you just like, it's just a parallelogram is the same thing as just a rectangle would be, okay? All right, let's go down to our first example. Find the perimeter and area. Perimeter, area, okay? Let's do perimeter first. The sides are 10 and 4 and 10 and 4. 28. 28 inches. Just inches, right? No squared, okay? Do you see how we get 28? Do I need to go back through that? That was kind of fast. Area is base times height. What's the base? 10. So it's like on the side. What's the height? 3.5, because those two dimensions have to be perpendicular to one another, right? Like at a right angle. So 10 and 3.5, move the decimal. 35 inches squared. Not too bad, right? Pretty easy. All right, now they do some weird things to you because this one's find the area. Only find the area. We don't have to find the perimeter. Base times height. What's the base? 15. What's the height? We don't know the height. How can we find the height if we're given this information?
There's the hypotenuse and then you have an angle.
Yes. So they give you an angle, and this is a right triangle, which means we can use SOHCAHTOA, right? Okay. What is H in relationship to that angle? Opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. This guy's the opposite. What about 8.5? Hypotenuse. We don't know this bottom side right here. That's the adjacent side, right? We don't know that. So we're going to use O and H. Which trig function uses O and H? Sine. Okay, so we do sine of what? 45 equals H over 8.5. Okay, then if we're trying to solve for H, we multiply the 8.5 over to the other side. And H is going to be, I think it was like 6.01. I believe is what it was. 6.01. We'll go with it because I can remember that. Okay. So that's the height, 6.01. And we take that times 15 because base and height. And it was like 90.2. And that is millimeters squared. Okay. Good. Happy with that? All right, this is more stuff about triangles and all that good stuff, whatever. Let's go to the backside. Okay, example 3. Triangle is base times height divided by 2, yeah? Okay, all right, here we go. So, the base, let's see. Wait a second. Let's read the example. DeAndre needs enough mulch to cover the triangular garden shown and enough paving stones to border it. So circle mulch. Mulch is going to have to do with the what? Mulch is like the stuff that you fill it with. So that's going to be my area, okay? Paving stones, those are going to refer to my perimeter, right? Okay. Area, perimeter. Okay, so let's just go ahead and find the area and find the perimeter, okay? This is a triangle, so we're going base times height, but then we have to divide that by 2, right? Because a triangle is half the base times height. If you look at the example that we had before, like these two triangles together make a parallelogram. So base times height divided by 2. Okay, here we go. This one right here. What is let's do area first. What is the base of that triangle? 7. What's the height? 9. And if I take 7 times 9, that is 63, but I divide it by 2, and that is something. 31 and a half. Did I do that right?
Sure. Yes.
31 and a half, okay? And that is feet squared, okay? That's the area. Okay, perimeter is all of the edges added together. So 7 plus 15 plus 23. 7, 15, 23 is 45, and that is feet, just in feet, right? That's my perimeter, okay? Now, but let's go back up into the story problem, and they say if 1 bag of mulch covers 12 square feet, okay, we need 31.5 square feet. 1 bag of mulch is covering 12 square feet. How many bags of mulch do we need? Divide by 12. And if we divide by 12, it's 2.65. So how many bags? 3 bags, right? Because we can't buy 2.65 bags of mulch, right? Okay, 3 bags. 45 feet is all of the edges, but each stone is 4 inches. What the heck? So we have feet, and now we have inches. How do we do that?
Turn 45 into inches.
Okay, how do you turn? Multiply by 12. Okay, that is something, I don't know. 540. So this is 540 inches, and each one is 4 inches. So divide by 4, and that is 100 and what? 135 stones is how many we would need, right? Make sense? Very nice. Okay. All right, 2 left. Here we go. Example 4 is probably the hardest one on the whole page. They say the height of a triangle is 5 centimeters more than the base. Okay, so they've named the base as B, or whatever you want to call it. The height is 5 more than that, so B plus 5, right? And to find the area, I would do base times height divided by 2. So B times B plus 5, and then I would divide that by 2. Except they tell me what the area is. What's the area? 52, okay? And now I have to like unwind this thing in order to figure out what B is, okay? So what would you like to do? Times 2, okay? 52 times 2 is 104, I believe. Okay? Now what is B times B plus 5? B squared plus 5B, okay? And then what? How do I solve for B? They said this morning, take the square root, except we have a B over here. You can't take the square root when you have that extra B.
Or is it trinomial?
Yes, we're going to have to do a trinomial. So we're going to move this 104 onto this side by subtracting 104. So minus 104. So we have 0 equals, now we have a trinomial. B squared plus 5B minus 104. And then we're going to break it down. So we have to figure out what we multiply to get 104. Multiply to get 104, but when I add them, give me 5. So I have 104 over here. Would be like 1 and 104, and 2 and 52, and 3 doesn't go in there, and 4 does. 4 and 26, and 5 doesn't go in there, and 6 and, 6 and 1. Nope, 6 doesn't go in there either. 7 doesn't go in there. 8 does, though. 8 and 1, 3. 8 and 13.
Yes.
8 and 13. So B and B, and one of them is, we want it to be a positive 5 when we add them. So B, let's go plus 13 minus 8, right? Okay, but then that means B equals negative 13 and B equals positive 8. Now what does B stand for? The base. Which base do you want to use? 8. 13 is not going to work because it's negative, right? If the base is 8, what's the height going to be? Because you would add 5, right? Hey, that's kind of nice that would do with that thing. Okay, you ready? Last one? Here we go. Plot the points. Negative 1, 3. This is P. Negative 1, comma 3. And Q is negative 3, negative 1. Q, negative 3, negative 1. And R is 4, negative 1. R, 4, negative 1. Okay, here we go. They want us to find the area and perimeter. Perimeter, area. Yes. Okay, area we won't have to do the distance formula for. Area is base times height divided by 2. Okay, what's the base of that thing? 7, I think. Okay, what's the height? 4 right here. This height right here is 4. 7 times 4 is 28 divided by 2 is like 14 units? And area squared. So 14 units squared for the area. Base times height divided by 2. Okay? Perimeter, we have 3 things to add together. We know one of the sides, and that is 7. The other 2 sides we're going to have to do the distance formula to find. Okay? So I have distance, this guy squared plus this guy squared. And let's do from P to Q. We'll do that distance first. Okay? So starting with negative 3 and going to negative 1. How many units is that? 2, and then going from negative 1 to 3, that is 4. Okay, 2 squared is 4. 4 squared is 16. This guy is the square root of 20. I'm going really fast, sorry. The square root of 20. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now we're going to do the other side, the third side, and that is these two together. Okay, square root, this junk plus this junk. Okay. All right, negative 1 to 4 is 5. 3 to negative 1 is 4. So this is 25 and 16, and that is the square root of, we're almost done. The square root of 41, you can stay here. We'll be done in like 30 seconds. The square root of 41, and if I add all those together and get a decimal, it was like 17 point something. 7 plus the square root of 20 plus the square root of 41. Enter. 17.88, and that's just units. Adding all those up. Okay? Good? Not too bad? Okay. On this side, do all of them on skills. And all of them on skills practice. Backside, do the evens. Well, actually, 7 and 9 are harder than 8 and 10, actually.
10 has 3 parts.
Yeah, I know, but you're just doing area and perimeter and stuff. Versus the 7 and 9 have like the B and the B plus 5 and that stuff, I think, or something. Okay? All right, so there you go. All evens. Where was that at for time?
13.
Ah, okay.